I'm here because this lovely gentleman, Tom, where's Tom? Here's Tom right here with my wife. So Tom, who I don't know, you're from Nashville? Tom tweeted this, and they reached out to my agent and called me and said, would you like to come do a talk? And I don't do this, but I said, absolutely. So we changed it a little bit, Tom, and I'm gonna just kind of take a random access tour through my head and through the show. The show is so long, there's 19 hours really, so 20 minutes I'd need about maybe 2,000 hours to talk about everything, but I'll take you through kind of how we work. As you already know, I've done Top Gun and Zero Dark 30, and I think the thing I love is I did commercials for a long time, Coca-Cola. I did the first Facebook commercial, the Chairs commercial. I've done so much advertising all over the world that the detail that you put into a commercial, every frame is so important that you have to really, every image is a story in the story. And I kind of just took that to the next level. And Severance, with Ben, I really had the opportunity. He really went for it with us, and he backed kind of how we would approach a show that I don't think's ever been done on television. We decided we wanted to make cinema on TV, and we wanted to do a real, a 10-hour film each season, and it takes us, good 2.5 years to make a season, which isn't normal, and no one has ever done it, so we're quite proud of it. There's so many details we meticulously construct that I'm so proud of. The desk, milkshakes, the mammalians, gemmas. Each episode really is a movie on its own. So I kind of didn't know how to do this when I had so many images. So we thought, oh, let's just see how many images, and there's a lot of images. Like a lot of images. And that was my life until last night, and there's thousands more. So instead of trying to tell some kind of perfect narrative, I just wanted to highlight 6 kind of things and show you guys kind of behind the scenes. And I know a lot of people here aren't in film, they're more in design or anything. But actually, before I go forward, I just want to say I feel really welcome here. I feel like a misfit being a designer, and I feel like I'm in a room of misfits. So I'm super, I've met some amazing people here in the last few days that I didn't know existed. I really didn't. I've met some incredible artists, so I'll move on, but I'm super feel comfortable here. When I first read the script for Severance, it read like The Office. It really, not the show, but the tone of it, it didn't really have any style. It was like a Parks and Rec kind of show. It was funny, it was really intelligent, but it didn't have any tone or style. And when Ben asked me if I wanted to do it, I read it, and I really didn't want to do it. I didn't know what I would do. I didn't see it. And he said, well, why don't you think about it? And I said, well, give me 2 days, and if I can come up with a lookbook that I feel comfortable with, let's meet, and I'll share it with you and see how you feel about it. So I'm just going to take you through the first, few images that no one's ever seen. This is just William H. Macy from Fargo, and it was my first image I showed him, and I said, I really think that Mark's Audi he should always look tiny in the frame. It should be winter always. It should always be emotionally real. Like, it wasn't in the script. None of this was in the script. It was the outside world should be really emotionally cold. And then when we go inside, we get into a different planet. But so these were just kind of the first kind of thoughts. Also, the architecture had to be somewhat cold. And once again, everyone needed to be little. Like we're ants, like all of us, and how we feel in the world. And so the next thing was designing offices, which is really not fun because they're all about, we joked, Jessica, the DP, and I joked it was going to become the ceiling show. Because how do you make it interesting? So we really, really dove deep into lighting and ceilings. Like, how do you make these environments kind of have nice shadows and textures and be attractive to look at? And then this image to me is one of the greatest places in the world. It's the John Deere building, which is a tractor company who has the most incredible offices. And It's designed by Eero Saarinen and Kevin Roche, who I'm huge fans of. And this desk is the Severance desk. You can kind of see where it came from. And we kind of took it to the next stage, like, again, walking through, like, offices in the 60s were so beautiful, and now I don't find them they have so much, human resources took over in the 80s, and you could bring your family to work so you could work 16-hour days. I'd like to go back to the 8-hour day, so you have a pencil and a Rolodex and a phone, and you just work, and then you go home. So we thought, let's take it back to that look. These people really just work. Let's create an environment that's stunning to look at in its simplicity. The retro thing came to me right away when I saw this image. I couldn't stop laughing because I remember these days. And I thought, well, what about if all the computers in the show they have to be old? Like if the Audis ever explained to you what they were doing when they come up and they said, I'm working at this computer that has a trackball and it has a CRTC screen, it wouldn't make any sense to anyone. They'd think you were nuts. So the story started to dictate its design. This image is always, if anyone knows, it's just a classic. And what I fell in love with, it was the easy way to show Ben that I wanted to do green. I love the carpet. Because the MDR to me it's kind of the core of the show, the main set. And they're children. And it felt like it needed to be like a playground. This is like grass. Then there's the table, which is another play area. And then I stumbled upon this film, Playtime, which is Jacques Tati, which is probably one of the greatest design movies of all time that was a huge flop. No one's really ever watched it, ever. And it's becoming really popular now. He went bankrupt when he made it. Coppola's going to do the same for Metropolis. Maybe Metropolis will be 30 years from now, but when someone takes the passion to do something this interesting, it's wild that it gets missed for so many years. And its design was stunning. It's all on stage. I highly recommend everybody watch it. It's incredible. It's kind of funny if you notice in the back, there's 3 women standing there. They're just cardboard cutouts, and they were intentional. Like if you watch the scenes, it's what makes things eerie is some people just never move, and the scene's 5 minutes long, and you're trying to figure out why they're static, because they're not real. Like he was always playing with our lives and kind of how artificial it can be. And this was my last image that I showed Ben, and I thought this is just what the world looks like for the outside world in our show. It's always misty, cold, mysterious, spooky, and Twin Peaks, really. That's kind of how I saw it. World building. Before I start designing anything on a show, especially as large as this, it's kind of like I have to cast who are my main crew people, who are the people that I can actually build this world with, who understand what I want and can work the way I want. And I'm very specific, but I am so love someone to take it and do their own thing and not wait for me to tell them to do it. Like surprise me, surprise me, surprise me. It's everything. This image, this is one of the early concepts of the boardroom, and it's really funny because when I asked Dan, like, what's the boardroom? He said it's the birthplace of the office. It's basically the womb. It's where you're born into work, which I thought was so bizarre, and it made me really just enjoy the show even more. So when I got really into it, my first person I always work with is my researcher, and Lauren Sandoval. I've worked with her on 4 or 5 projects now, and I am really specific. I give her a million ideas, and she just filters me back. And we honestly go through thousands of images. It's looking for lighting and textures and products and things that there's a lot of things that I do love already, but it was finding the ones that I'd never seen before so that everyone in this show could see things they've never seen before, because this is a world that you shouldn't know. It's familiar, but you shouldn't know it. So we work really, really closely. She's kind of helps me build the DNA of what it looks like. Then I work with 3 to 4, 5, sometimes 5 concept artists. And Freddie, who I've worked with for 20 years, always works in SketchUp and then Unreal. We kind of build all the environments. He really understands scale. Like we work really, really fast. Within 2 or 3 days, we had the MDR kind of roughly its size. I wanted it to be big with a very low ceiling, and you start to really see it really quickly. And then I work with another guy, Eric, who's an incredible industrial designer who helps me do all the products, the tables. This table was one of my favorites because it was written that she was, being kind of interrogated. And I came up with this table I really wanted the images to be projected onto her face. Like it's like it needed to be burned into her mind. Like it was no way that she was not going to understand this. It's when you see it on her face, you know that it's impeding her and it's impeding us. It's quite torturous to watch, but also really beautiful. And it's kind of the core of Severance is we do that and it's beautiful. Like it's making everything in the story more three-dimensional and trying to infer the story more other than beyond just the dialogue or what they've written. This is a classic Eric moment, and this is where Dieter Rams comes in, because Eric said we should do Dieter, and I was like, look at it, it is Dieter. And it has, it's really cutting edge, and it's beautiful and simple and dangerous and violent, but really honestly stunning too. I could eat on it. Yeah, I love this. When he comes out of the elevator, does he go left and right, and where do you go? And he comes out of basically the elevator. I wanted it to be so small, like it had to feel like a cage. Like I remember telling Ben, it's just the width of his shoulders, and everyone was like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Well, because there's nowhere for them to go. They don't even know where they're going. They have to be contained." And then they get into the miles of hallways, which we really do have so many hallways on stage. We have a lot of stages, and every actor gets lost on. We all get lost in them all the time. I mean, actually, John Turturro and Christopher Walken did get lost. The low ceiling was the trickiest. I'd never done something this low and something this big that was going to be shot so much. It's really became a really powerful set, and we fought a lot about the height, and we came into 7.9. I wanted 7.6. I went to 7.9, and even John Turturro hated it because he could touch it, but it's really, really claustrophobic when you're in the set. But I think you see that in them. There's something odd about it. There is a claustrophobia in this set. It's very, very low. And then I'm just going to kind of randomly just take you through a few things. Obviously, our computer, we fell in love with making this computer and how it was going to work and what keys would be blank, and there's no escape key, and do we not have one? And there's Kat, my props master, and Ben. Like all of us had so much fun coming up with this. Like I love the trackball. It's a lot of them are tropes that I remember as a kid. And how do we make something that, it had to be interactive. The actors had to be able to use the program. They had to believe in the math. So we built a real program, a software program that they literally could move through, and they could do as much as you understand about the show. Adam is doing it. Adam really hit carpal tunnel, and his wrist was so beat up from this trackball. I feel bad, but I don't. This is Cobal and Milkchicks, which we loved, but I also made a 50% version for Miss Swan. It's so tiny in her desk, it's hysterical. We really play with scale a lot, and it's really because it's fun, because honestly we can, and I think it's good to just do it because you can. This is another example of another illustrator I use. So this is a museum in the Bronx that has that house, but I was like, what if it's underground? So we shoot there practically, and then in visual effects, we make it look like it's underground. And I started to do that a lot on this show, where we'd find environments you can't ever afford to build, and you wouldn't need to. So we started to combine them in underground sets, which was really fun. Honestly, one of my favorites was Dan wrote this scene where it was going to the wellness center, and he wrote there's an in and an outdoor. I'm like, but Dan, there's only one room, and he's like, but that's the best part. You go in one, and then I still don't get it, but visually I love it. This was an early concept of O&D, where I really had a lot of art that I wanted to swing in and out, and a lot of it just changes over time, and it just gets better and better and better. But I love showing the kind of early stages. This was their hallway, which the escape staircase. Something like this was when we did the goat slaughter room. I think she was just holding it. And I was like, I wanted to make some weird contraption that the goat was in that made it clinical and safe and beautiful and sterile. And I came up with this crazy idea. But we don't know when we're going to have baby goats. It's really hard. So we kind of have to schedule when it's going to be ready. But baby goats only have a 2-week window, and they grow too much. So I had to design this thing that any goat would fit, that fit a window of. I think we waited weeks to shoot it because they have to fit in this damn little thing. Another great of my favorites. This is the control room for anyone who's seen the show. When you're upstairs, this is the below. This is underneath. it's basically opposites. I love doing opposites. Upstairs, everyone's facing in. This one, everyone's facing out. Just some nice little details. Like we love the details. So this kind of explains the upstairs, downstairs, and the umbilical cord that goes down, and just how they sort of are viewing these people as, and we're enjoying them playing at the top, up above. The boardroom was interesting because I didn't know how much we were going to see here. I didn't know we were going to see upstairs, or Lumon. And so we built this boardroom, and it actually turned out I wanted to mirror it. I wanted it to be glass all the way around, but half inside, half outside. But it always feels like everywhere you look, everyone's reflected. It's a nightmare to shoot. It's a nightmare for everyone, but I love it, and we do it. And we do a lot of visual effects cleanup. We just shoot it and clean it up later. Another one was the Ether Factory. We shot this in Newfoundland, so we do a lot of visual effects on all the episodes, really. But we just found a nice building that worked, and then I just build onto it later. The hallways, Gemma's World was very different for us because it's one floor below MDR, and what's nice is that we can do anything we want. So it's like, let's make the ceilings higher, and let's make everything a different angle. Let's just really, honestly, I'm just going to say it, let's really fuck with everybody, because you just can, and it starts to get so much more fun. This, I think, is everybody's favorite because of the diorams, the stereo. I think it'll probably be worth $1 million on an auction any day now. But a lot of the design things that I love, like we designed the sofa and the chair and the kitchen, and we try to design as much as we can, and we put in these little tiny tidbits of the most stunning design. And I feel like it's what helps us solidify its design, that we are not only, we're borrowing it from a little bit, but we're also doing our own new thing to it, which is really fun, and I feel really lucky that we get to actually do it. And I love this kitchen now, one in my house. Gemma's suite. I love this table. Like, what is she gonna sit at in her prison-like room that feels violent, that feels like she could sit with somebody else, but there's nobody else there? She's isolated, she's lonely, and how do you make that? How do you create that emotionally? And I think this was violent enough. The Christmas room was a favorite. It was a really fun set to do. A lot of times in the illustrations, we tend to keep drawing them. I keep drawing them and drawing them until the shoppers and the decorator and everybody's kind of showing me the best of everything. We kind of keep filling it in as much as we can so the sets are what we want them to be. This was probably the saddest moment, I think, on the show. This set is such a sad set, but it's a good ending, and it's very Kubrick. It definitely shows you that less is more is very powerful. The dentist, no one likes the dentist. The goat slaughter room, once again, was about being... My monitor went out up front. Hi, everybody. They're dark. Stephanie? I'll turn around and look. This is a great example. So when we were shooting in Jess's episode 207, we had to figure out how to do the cable shot, and we tried to do everything practically. We built every element to go down through the desk. We built this huge set to come down through all the cables and across the floor. So we were talking about building it in like huge overscale. This is how much work we do. We figure out every system, like, should we build an oversized, this set was, it's 80 feet long just for one shot. We didn't end up doing it, but we have to figure it out sometimes. I'm going to talk about the desk nest. So this, to me, is the core of the show, is this desk. And this one is weird because it's the three-person desk. And when I came back to season 2, I didn't know there was going to be a three-person desk. And when I read it, I was like heartbroken. I was so sad. I'm like, how is this going to work? Emotionally, it was like our baby. And it's going to fuck up all the angles because I didn't think about all this stuff. And it really just got better and better and better. And it's kind of what Severance does, is just get better and better. I'm just going to take you through some images, because what was nice about it, and Ben calls it the set that keeps on giving, is that you just have so many angles, and it's so playful that the amount of things that we can do in this set, I kind of treated it like Star Trek. Like, you need to design the console, the control room, and then after that, you can kind of go anywhere you want. And once I realized that this set was working, people believe it. You can kind of do whatever you want after that. The rules are, you can kind of just keep growing. Yeah, the 3 desk was really scary. I have to wing it now because I don't have any monitors. But you can start to see how you can fragment. Like Jess and I and Ben, we really wanted to break everything and play with 2D and 3D. It's not, a lot of things are just shot very three-dimensional and it serves the dialogue, but this is about how to tell the story and how to make it uncomfortable, how to make you, kinetically feel things, emotionally feel things through images like this, where he's not going to say anything, but you feel it. You feel his pain. I love how they could look through to each other. I remember when we were drawing this, I was just like so fascinated by how many different angles we could have. And then you get someone like Bob Balaban, and that's what you get. It's like he's the best. I mean, that's honestly, I think that's how tall he is. He's so cute. I'm just going to show COVID times. This is how we shot a lot of the show. It's not fun. And then the thing is, the desk started to become more things. And Dan wrote this dream sequence for Irving, and then it was a retreat. But this one, I was like, I asked my location scout, I said, can you find me a burnt forest of miniature trees? And he did. He found on the top of Sam's Point in upstate New York, there was a controlled burn where they'd burned all these trees to kill all the brush, and they were miniature black pines. And we ended up shooting this whole sequence live. We built the desk up in the forest in this miniature. It was incredible. But then the desk we get, it just keeps living and growing, and you get moments like this. And then you have Christopher Walken doing it. It's like my dream. I mean, he's the greatest. And then the end one is the Sinister dudes. His little, who would have thought he'd have the tiniest office, the tiniest desk? But he has his own little elevator, and he steps out, and this is where he watches them get tortured. Beyond the desk, this is Lumon. This is Bell Labs in New Jersey. I don't know if anyone knows where Homedale and what Bell Labs is, but they invented the first microchip. They invented the satellite. They invented the phone, all your phones, everything that went through this building. It's amazing. It doesn't look like this. It has a bunch of houses around it now, and it's very lived in, so we took it back to its basics, and we've augmented a lot in post and added mountains around it, and which is classic. The hallways are amazing. It's amazing how simplicity really is, to me, so beautiful, and that you can add one color and how much you feel from an image like this. Probably one of my other favorite sets is the break room. It's like designing sets that are unsettling, that have the canted walls, that just the strangeness of them. They're really, even though it's just basic walls, it's not even expensive looking. It's the simplicity and the lighting of it is so powerful, and where they stand and how it kind of breaks up your mind. I think it's, as much as I can fracture someone's mind when they're watching something, I think it really does get you into a totally different zone than you've been in ever before. I mean, look at that. He's looking at a watermelon. It's an amazing show because the design is amazing, because they have so many amazing people, but it's Jess and Ben and the wardrobe and these actors. It's like the whole combination of everyone. Everyone's on their A game. You can't show up and it's not perfect. We don't shoot it ever. It has to be perfect. And then you have epic shots like this, which was really cinematic. This is for real. This is all live, no CG. In a forest upstate, and I was trying to find Montana, and we found it after about 60 days of scouting, and it worked. This was my second season version of what do I do about how to build a really big set for 1 or 2 scenes that it's not possible. I can't build this on stage. I can't build grass. I've done it. It looks like Teletubbies. It had to be really real, so we started scouting Storm King, the art space, and I went for golf courses. And I have this amazing set designer, illustrator that I love, who is a LiDAR genius, and he has a drone that I started sending him to different places, and we would scan the area, and then we would build the set to see if it worked. And then we did that at probably 5 or 6 locations till we found one that was the right size. And so this is all shot on a golf course, but tented over, and the ceiling and walls are all CG. There's part of the walls we build, but it's trying to once again play with how you can really work in this world by not using. Nature is really hard to replicate. Milchick, this is a great one because I love Trammell. He's an amazing actor, and he had the idea. I brought him in, and I'm like, how do you want to turn over this set? And he said, do you know the duck? What is it again, a duck and a rabbit? I didn't know this. And then I loved it. And then he asked for the iceberg, which was really funny because I already knew we were going to shoot in Newfoundland, which he didn't even know, there's icebergs in the whole episode. But it was amazing because he's like, I'm like 5% known. You don't know who I am. And that became kind of Milchick's story. This is her little 50% computer, which I actually would really love. This is an example of one of our renderings. Like the bottom is an illustration, and then the top is the final. But we don't veer that far off, really. And there's so much control in the show, and I'm really lucky. Like, we get a lot of support to be able to work like this because it's not cheap, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. My favorite set is probably the birthing cabin this season. There was 2 sculptures, which I loved. And I knew I wanted to make sculptures in front of the fireplace, but I had no idea what they would be. And I knew I wanted them ceramic and colorful and very strange. And I called Dan, the writer, and said, if I was going to do 2 sculptures in front of the fireplace, what would they be? And he said, Mrs. Keir pregnant, Mr. Keir pregnant with industry. And I hung up. That was it. And I made them. I didn't tell Ben or anyone. And Patricia walked on set, and she literally everyone was like, what the fuck are these? They were blown away. Like, Patricia was literally hugging it. It was so cute. And it's those things that we bring to the show, like, all those little bonuses, like, the more that we can infer and make these playful ideas, they give everyone, whoever loves the show, it's what you can see the effort we go to. I mean, this is our little miniature plane you can see. I never thought I would build a plane that's only 3 rows deep. But we do every detail, every logo, every seat, like, we do every detail, even if we don't see it, because I think for the actors and for everyone, it should feel as real as possible when you're in it. You should walk in and just be like, it's there. It's all there. It's not half there. It's perfect. I love this. I don't know why, but I do. And then in Gemma's World, which was this set was really big, and Jessica, the director, she's amazing. This is her first episode she ever directed in her career. She's a cinematographer who did the most emotional episode of Severance. Gemma's story. This is a great it's a great set because I love it because it has a lot of 2D, 3D space play, which I always love. Like, I really think there should be always things that feel really close to you, but really open up, and you can really look around, and you're not just you're wandering. And you need a big screen, and I hope people have big TVs at home now. I think they do. The Christmas room was funny because our rule for Lumon is that they make everything. They manufacture everything underground so that no one would ever know what they're doing. Like, so everything's 3D printed or however they manufacture. So everything here looks like it's 3D printed. Like, it's all, we made everything to kind of feel like it's so artificial and not real, but it is real. She doesn't even know what real is. She's 5 years old. Our status set. The paintings, we have a lot of paintings. Dan writes them all. They're all from Dan's head. I spent a lot of time with the concept artist coming up with how they look and how they're lit and how they feel like real paintings. Somebody's waving at me, I can't tell. This is probably the weirdest one we did. I love it, I think it's amazing. And then this is classic Ben and Dan, Milchick, this guy can dance like nobody, so it's always a nice way to end before it becomes really violent. The marching band. This is a great overhead shot. This is half CG. We shot as much as we can, but we can't get this high on our stages, so it's a lot of work to pull off a shot like this. It's a great ending. I love this. It's just like, it's so nice the way they end, and who knows where season 3 will be, I don't know. We build a lot of products, we design a lot of products, we try to make them feel as real as possible. We do a lot of research. They're quite scientific. Thankfully, we don't have to save anyone because they really don't work. And then I'm just going to show you some shots how we shoot. We shoot with a lot of robotic arms, a lot of the best technology you can get. These are high-speed robotic arms. Adam is amazing at dancing with them. They're super fast. They're very dangerous, but they move, like the whole opening sequence of season 2, a lot of it was shot on these robotic arms, and we have to tear apart the sets to do it. It took probably about 6 weeks to shoot that opening. This is a classic example of how we mirror. I mirror a lot of sets. We love to make everything a little bit duplicity, and they casted people that looked the same, which I thought was hysterical. Like, everyone is doing it in the show. Here's our desk in the forest. We had to build about a half-mile bridge to get there because we couldn't walk in it. We had to build above it and walk in because we couldn't touch anything, except for where we were allowed to put the desk. We build rocks. Even the rock he's standing on isn't real. This is our birthing cabin. This is kind of pretty much how we shoot on our stages. This is mammalian. So this is how big that set was. With a tent over it. It's 240 feet long with no supports. All lit and ready to shoot. I'm back up. I can read again. The break room becomes a playroom. So in season 1, it was the torture room. In season 2, it becomes a playroom. Dan wrote it as this room where now it's all really fun. Show up and we'll play. And so we made it very like a kindergarten classroom. And they were, to kind of explain to you what happened in season 1, they'd written this flashback, these videos that you'd seen of surveillance footage of the whole, of everyone from last season, like what happens in the story. I'm like, well, we didn't shoot any of that footage. Like, we don't have it. And I'm like, what if we create our own video? What if we treat them like, let's do a kindergarten class? Like, when I was a kid, they would have shown David and Goliath or, the Burl Ives, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So it was kind of in that vein. Let's do stop motion. And he's like, I know Duke Johnson, who, did Rick and Morty, and they did, Amelisa. And I'm like, that was it. I boarded it, kind of created what it would look like, sent it to them, they loved it, and then Ben took it over and completely boarded it and worked with their director. And we did, honestly, it was so much fun to see all of our sets in miniature, and to have the show made that we can watch on this vintage TV in this crazy room, this amazing, Ben invented this. This idea is amazing. This is how they shot, this is them doing the mirror gag, everything's in camera. There was no visual effects at all in the 3-minute video. And then Ben kind of topped it off by getting Keanu to do the voiceover, which doesn't get much better. Here's a great example of forced perspective. This is a miniature forced perspective for the hallways that they used to shoot him running down the hallway. And then kind of last, for me, what's been amazing about Severance is that there's what its life is, it's taken on beyond us now. And I'm getting blown away by what people, like Lego, people are making these digital Legos, and they start to, there's so many drawings and books, and there's just so many things that people are inventing based on Severance. It's become its own entity, which has been really fun. And then, I guess it was probably about 2 months ago, my daughter sent me this. And apparently in Austria, they made a Severance desk. And I had no idea. And my daughter's 25, she called me and she said, Dad, you hit the big time. You're on the cover of IKEA. I'm like, this is amazing. And I had no idea. And apparently you can buy these in a few countries now, which is kind of, it's amazing. And then honestly, last was, I didn't know that Apple was doing this. I don't have, we make the show independent. I don't really, there's an Apple Studio, but I don't have anything to do with Apple. And they, I just saw this on their website. I didn't even know they did it, that all of a sudden on their website, you go to buy a new Mac. I was going to buy a new Mac, and there was our computer as the first one you could buy. And I was like, we've entered the zeitgeist. This is amazing. Now, our art is real life. Even though you click on it, you can't buy it. You watch a video of how we make the show, but it's just amazing that people, how they've responded to it. And I'm super thankful, and I love that a room full of designers like this love design. I think and I've learned a lot myself about how much people do appreciate it. That's it for me. I'm super excited. I'm super nervous. I have to say, I'm coming back next year. I'm just coming to watch events because this was terrifying, and it's her in the yellow dress, Nira. I mean, honestly, I'm really thankful. Thank you so much. Hi, Nira.